Hi, everybody. It's Bernie Lee here for my YouTube channel, Bernie Pickleball. And I want to kind of give you a little bit of my thought process and how it's been going. I've been playing a lot of pickleball. I've been playing at local outdoor pickups. And then also I actually joined a club as well, an indoor club about less than half an hour away from me in Medfield, Massachusetts, called the Kingsbury Club. And I've been playing a lot and really trying to figure it out, because there are times where obviously I'm still inconsistent, but there are times where I'm hitting a shot that I feel is very natural for sports that I have played. And I mentioned this previously, the two sports, tennis, which I still play, but the other one that is kind of surprising, and you don't hear about it as much, is ping pong, or table tennis, if you call it. So for me, I used to play at a relatively high level. I used to play in some regional tournaments and even national tournaments when I was younger. And for ping pong, the forehand is very similar to what we would consider a drive. You know, sometimes I hit the shot and people even think it's going out, but because there's so much topspin on it, it actually dips in. And again, I say this without even knowing what a third shot drop or a third shot drive and all that kind of stuff is. But if you are competitive in ping pong, this is something that really is natural. Also, the other thing about ping pong is that there's a lot of spin, right? So there's a lot of underspin and side spin, and that translates fairly well too, especially kind of a sometimes on the serve, sometimes also on the return of serve, where you're kind of chipping and charging and then getting to the net. So those have really translated well. I think there are some things that haven't, and it is when I'm trying to hit that shot, if I'm way back, I really feel like I can give it everything I have. But if I'm even 2 or 3 steps into the court and try to hit it with everything I have, usually it sails out. So I'm definitely going to have to manage that. You know, the shots aren't that consistent. My backhand, I'm a two-handed backhand person in tennis. It's a lot harder in pickleball, especially the way I hold the racket like a ping pong paddle. So I'm still trying to see, am I going to do a two-handed backhand? Am I going to do a one-handed backhand? I mentioned the drops, those third shot or fifth shot drops. That's not natural to me. So that's definitely something that I'm working on. I think the angles of the game are very similar to ping pong and tennis. So I feel comfortable with those angles. Some people have even said like, wow, you're already thinking that way. But to me, I'm thinking about that because I've played sports like this. The one thing is the volleys. So sometimes the volleys are very natural, especially when you have to split the two players. You know, a similar concept in tennis. If you're playing doubles, always go down the middle. But every once in a while, I'll hit a shot like a backhand volley and I'll hit it and I think it's perfect. But then it'll sail like 6 inches out and I'll realize that's perfect for tennis, but that's not perfect for pickleball. But my body is so accustomed to tennis that when I stick it out for a volley, I kind of pop it out. So this video is kind of like a compilation of a bunch of videos that I've played recently, outdoors and indoors, and you can kind of see how I'm slowly transitioning and practicing, and I think it's an interesting take on it of the things that I'm doing well, but also the things that I'm realizing that I need to work on. So for players who are just starting out, hopefully you'll find this video pretty interesting, and I hope you enjoy it. So you can see here, I'm practicing my drives that I just use in ping pong. It's one of the first times I'm practicing, and it just felt very, very natural. So I try them in games, and you know, a lot of people talk about third shot drops, but at the 3-5 levels, the third shot drive that I hit here right down the middle is often extremely effective. So I use it. And then what happens is people start cheating toward the middle. See how he took a step toward the middle, and then I hit a drive down the line, and that works very often as well. But listen, I'm not perfect. Trust me. See how I take a couple of steps in, and then it just flies long. So when I'm first starting to figure this out, I'm realizing that if it's a little 2 or 3 steps inside the court, it can fly long, and I really have to either not swing as hard or maybe even just slice it at that point. So with regards to volleys, I enjoy it. It's very similar to tennis, and so you can see I have that motion down, and often I'm able to click it, especially forehand volleys. I feel very comfortable with. The other thing I feel comfortable with is drop volleys, just nice small touches, very similar to tennis. Whether it's the forehand or in this case it'll be the backhand as well. But sometimes that gets me into trouble. I'll show you in a little bit. But the best is when you can put them together, right? Right here, hit a drive off of the serve, and then hit a nice little volley and finish it all off. But there are bad volleys too, trust me. And I'm still learning, easy one right there and make a silly shot. Same thing here. I come in and then just hit a really horrible volley right into the net. So this one, I hit a good approach, and after my partner hits a volley, I hit a pretty decent first forehand, but then my backhand was horrible. These volleys I want to show you here are the ones that I think are good in tennis. Watch this, I hit a backhand, I think it's perfect, and it's slightly out. Same thing is for this. I hit a forehand volley, which I think I'm just dinking over perfectly, but for pickleball, it doesn't work. So those are things I have to work on. These are some slice returns that I was working on that one day, and I've translated it over to games. So you see, I sliced it right down the middle, and they got confused. This one, my opponent got really kind of mixed up here. He didn't know what was going to happen, and so that slice return often works well. Here's one more of them where I hit a slice, not as much as a deep one, but right at the net and really kind of fooled my opponent. But if there's a shot I have to work on, I'm telling you, it's my backhand. I really have to. This one was a decent shot, but that's just horrible. And I really am trying to work on my backhand right now. Just a little inconsistent. It'll come. I've just started playing, so it'll be fine. So in this one, you can see I also try to hit a backhand using an angle and just a really bad shot. But I have been using angles well. I'm able to use my knowledge from tennis and ping pong and the shot right here, decent backhand, but I'm able to kind of hit it cross court and surprise them. Well, dinking is definitely something that's different. And so you can see I should have thought about dinking it than just trying to like popping it up here. And then here's another opportunity where I could have dinked it, but instead, I tried to do something special with it right here for no reason. So I hope you enjoyed that. Really got to see some of the shots that seem very natural to me, like that forehand drive and some of the volleys that I do, but some of the things that I'm not consistent on, or some of my weaknesses like my backhand or really kind of working on my dinking. So I'll start making some more videos on things that I'm working on, maybe some lessons that I do, and try to give you kind of like an insider view of those lessons, and maybe I'll start playing in some tournaments too. So again, if you like this video, please like it, please subscribe below, and I'll be bringing out more content shortly. Thanks so much for joining me here.